Right, so hello everybody and welcome to our Lovely People webinar. It's really, really great to see so many of you here. It's really nice. And tonight our lovely guest, our lovely person is the lovely Lucy Sheffield. So for those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but Lucy is my niece. So I know Lucy quite well.
Yes, a little bit.
But I have watched an amazing change come over Lucy over the last few years. I've watched her blossom and I've watched her learn to be herself and be comfortable in her own skin and comfortable out in the world. And that's been really, really, really good to watch. And so I thought it would be really nice to have a chat with Lucy and kind of tell other people about what her journey's been like and what she's seen since she came across the principles. So do you want to start, Lucy, and kind of tell us a little bit about your principles journey and what you saw and what it was like for you?
Yeah, man. Do you want me to say how I came to the principles and then? Yeah, I would do that.
Whatever makes sense to you. You just share what makes sense to you. That's always a good place to start, I think.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously, as Deb said, I've known her quite a few years, and it was when I was with my ex, and we was having some troubles in our relationship, and we'd gone down to visit Deb for the weekend. And looking back, I remember you talking about thinking stuff, and I was I just remember coming on the journey home thinking, saying to Michaela, I don't know what she was on about, but there was something. Deb's changed so much, and I was kind of I want a bit of that. And as I say, we were having trouble in our relationship at the time, and it looked to me like I needed to change. It was me that was causing the problems with my drinking and stuff, and I wasn't very nice to her and all this crap. And it very much looked like if I didn't change, then it was gonna ruin the relationship. So whatever it was I heard in Deb that weekend just made me think, this is the way forward. I don't want to go to no flipping Alcohol Anonymous stuff. No offense, anyone, but I don't want to go and do any of that stuff because I don't know. It just didn't look like the right thing. But whatever it was that I heard from Deb, and it was seeing Deb and seeing the change in her that made me think there's something in this. The way she's dramatically changed from how she was, it just made me think this is what I need. So we basically started talking, Skyping every week, didn't we? Talking principles, and I can't really put my finger on there being a huge insight straight away or anything, but just things just started to make more sense. And I've never done, I know a lot of people that come across the principles have done other stuff, I don't know, what is it, CBT and all that lot, and NLP and all them things. I know a lot of people, don't laugh at me, all them worded things that I don't know about, but a lot of people have done other therapies, and then they come across the principles, and apparently it's sort of harder to understand or grasp it because people are relating to that. But I'd had none of that. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I just came kind of quite fresh to it. And everything that Deb was saying each week was just making sense. And I just started to feel a lot calmer. And I'd never really liked myself, let alone loved myself very well, for quite a lot of years, previous to being in that relationship and previous to the principles. So to start with, I think my principal journey was definitely sort of learning the simplicity of how our thinking works. And I wasn't kind of that far behind Deb anyway on her journey in the principles. So she was still fairly new to it as well. So we were kind of learning together in a way. So to start with, it was just clicking into place that just silly little things like, oh, I feel a bit calmer today, and Michaela's not pissing me off. And things weren't doing me head in and stuff. And it just slowly started to make sense. And I definitely at that point, I didn't stop drinking altogether, but I lessened off with my drinking. And as I got more into the principles, when I did drink, or when even now, like when I do drink, because I still drink now and stuff, when I do drink, I just get loopier. I'm not abusive or anything like I was before. So it definitely helped from that point of view. Like to my mind, from the drinking side of things, it looks to me like I was drinking from a headspace of, I don't love myself, I don't like myself, let's try and block all this crap out, life shit and all that lot. And then I would just take all my anger out, because I was angry at the world and angry at myself and stuff, and I would take it all out on Michaela when I drank too much. So definitely that changed a hell of a lot, and our relationship changed immensely, and we got into a really, really good, healthy relationship for quite a few years. And I just continued to grow and change, and I don't know, really, just I began to see that I was good enough, and I was worth, I was worth loving myself type thing. And actually I was like, yeah, you are pretty cool and awesome. And definitely that kind of had an impact on Michaela as well. And I definitely felt a difference in our relationship, where she kind of more deeply fell in love with me for a little while. Then it all went tits up. But that's fine. So that's like the main journey. That's like the main how I got into the principles. Next, go on, fire some more questions at me. I don't know where to go next.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can definitely remember sort of watching those things play out,
Yeah.
Seeing the changes in you, and seeing how open you were, in those days when we were first having those Skype calls. You were like a sponge. You weren't in a good place at all, but you were so receptive to kind of changing. You were
I'd wanted to change for ages, and I just didn't know where to go and what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
I knew that it was, I'd hit that place where I just couldn't take any more shit. But yeah.
And I think they weren't maybe kind of like massive earth-shattering insights, but you were just, every week you were seeing something new. Every week we would speak and something, and a lot of them were small shifts, but those small shifts are life-changing. I think people sometimes, they're waiting for this massive, huge, great change in their life, and maybe, it is something smaller happens and maybe they miss it. But do you know what? Those little things, when just seeing some of the things that you saw differently, were amazing, and the difference it makes in your life when you just see even the smallest thing differently is huge. So I think, sometimes when people come across the principles and they begin to hear about insights, they're just waiting for this massive aha moment, and they dismiss everything else. And it's like, actually, I think it's way more common for people, and I know I've had lots and lots and lots of small insights that have shifted me, and I think that's way more common, that we just kind of have lots of smaller insights.
I mean, it's like the whole thing where we say, like, we're not fixed, and we're just continually changing and stuff moment to moment. And that's what I'm seeing as well at the moment. I'm just changing so much all the time. Just little things are just constantly, bubbling under the surface type thing. So I think that's good to know, and good for people to realise, that it's maybe not just one massive earth-shattering insight. And I mean, sometimes we're very aware of insights, we really see a shift, and another time we can kind of be going along, and then we suddenly realise, oh, I've just kind of taken that completely differently to how I would have done before. It looks to me like insights and our learning and our moving forward on this come in all shapes and sizes. I have an awesome little story to tell you on that.
Cool.
Which just happened this evening. Which is, it was just so funny. So I've had like a fairly good day, and I would consider I was in quite clear, good thinking today. And me and Juju had some awesome chats this morning and stuff. And then like this afternoon, I just got a bit tizzy, or whatever you call it, and I was just like, there's too many things I need to do, and I'm not home at the time. I wanted to be home, and as your thinking kicks in and your day isn't going as planned. But I was also like, there's always a little voice in me saying, it's fine. It doesn't have to go as planned. Your okayness doesn't change and all that. It's little Deb. But I got home and there wasn't as much time as I wanted, and then we had to go and sort my car out. I had to put my car in to get fixed the other day. And funnily enough, they didn't ring me yesterday. This is another part of the story. They didn't ring me yesterday. So I rang them today to say, what happened, is what's going on with my car. And they said, oh, we didn't have your phone number. That's why we haven't rang. I was like, oh, right, that would have helped. Okay, no problem. Yeah, this is what's what. We'll probably get it done for you this afternoon. You can come and collect it. So I've been driving Beck's car the last couple of days. So I messaged her and said, if I come and pick you up from work, and then we'll go straight to the garage and get my car, if that's all right. So we get there. Funny part one, Beck gets in her car to drive off, and she was like, you all right? I said, yeah, I'll just pay and sort it out. And then suddenly I don't know my PIN number. I can't remember my PIN number because I only ever use it for like, the thingy. What you call it?
Oh, contactless.
Yeah, but it was over 30 quid.
Really?
So then I just I wasn't panicking like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I was like, so I tapped on Beck's window and said, don't go yet. Come in with your card because I just can't remember my PIN number and I don't look like a dick. So she came back in. And then the guys were faffing. It was so funny, wasn't it? They were like, where's the key? Where's the key gone? Where's the key gone? The guys were like bloody jokers, I swear. But they were just awesome. And suddenly, straight away, my mind had just shifted from all that crap I'd been thinking in that last hour or so. And I was just in that moment with these guys bloody looking for me car key. Well, they couldn't find it anywhere, could they? Anyway, Beck went off because I did the payment. I said, yeah, you can go now, it's fine. She went off. And just after she'd gone off, the guy was like, no, we can't find your key anywhere. And he got the other guy, and I'm thinking, shit, I shouldn't have let Beck go. I'm stuck here now. So, but I was just laughing my head off. They couldn't find my car key anywhere, and I just thought it was so funny. And the guy that had been working on my car said, oh, I've been working on another car today, and it's one of them keyless ones, and I've left your key in that car, I think, and he's gone home. And I was like, okay. And then he said, hang on, I'll ring him. Oh no, it's that guy that we've got the dodgy number for. And I just kept laughing. You couldn't make this shit up. And it was just getting, the story was just getting worse and worse. And then he was like, so he rang the guy, and the guy said, I'm just in the shower. I'm gonna ring you back. So I was like, I'm going to have a seat over there. I'm just going to have one of your sweets, though, while I'm waiting. So I was just picking the sweets up off the side and chatting to the guys, as you do. I was just having a right laugh with them. And then basically, the guy said, right, hang on a sec. I'll come out the shower. I'll ring you back, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy from the garage said, can I come round to your house? Because I know where I left the key in your car. Can I come round and look for it? So I just had to sit on the seat in this garage waiting for the guy to go around his house to see if he could get my car key to get my car. In the meantime, I messaged back. I said, are you home? Guess what? Funny story. And she said, do you know where if you've got a spare car key? It's like, yeah, I think so. So in the meantime, she did find that. But anyway, the point of it was the guy came back and he was like, got it. He was like, I'm so sorry. And I was just so full of compassion. I was just like, these things happen. Don't worry about it. It's bloody hilarious. So at least I got my car now. So, I drove off and everyone was happy. But I just thought it was just such a good example. Not that I always feel like that. Don't get me wrong. There are days where that could have happened and I'd have just been, a bitch. I'd have just been mad and got stressed and angry and upset about it. But for whatever reason today, well, the reason obviously is my thinking gave me that. I just found it bloody hilarious. I just thought, shit happens, stuff happens like that all the time, and people make mistakes. We're human. And that brings me on to another little story. No, the other thing, which I like about this understanding is, I say this to Judy all the time as well, I just feel so much more human than, when I started out on this journey sort of thing, principal journey. I definitely kind of used to think, right, well, that's it then. I've got to be more spiritual. I've got to be nice all the time and understanding and compassionate all the time, and and there's no need to be angry. There's no need. I know the principles. I don't need to be angry anymore. It just don't bloody work like that, does it? It's crap. It's just like, but a lot of the time I just embrace my humanness, I just love being human. And the more I notice that I'm okay with whatever I feel, it passes anyway, whether that's nice thinking, good thinking, bad thinking, whichever one. It's all going to bloody pass, and you're just going to feel whatever you feel, because we ain't in control of it. I'm rambling on now, sorry. That was my garage story, and then I've carried on.
That's the idea, I think, to carry on. Sorry.
Better than an uncomfortable silence.
Yes.
Oh my God, Judith's there. I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, Judith's here listening to your stories. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what I've seen in you, the fact that you're just comfortable with being who you are. And I think we can very often kind of make up these stories of who we should be and what we should be like, and we set ourselves a bar that's impossible. Like you say, if we're kind of saying, oh, that's it, I'm never going to feel angry again, I'm never going to feel, or I shouldn't feel angry, or I shouldn't feel annoyed at anything. We are human. And if you have annoying thinking, you're going to feel annoyed. And I think when we try and make ourselves feel things we don't feel, or, don't allow ourselves to feel what we are, that's when we do get into trouble. And the other thing I see around that is it's okay not to be scared of what we feel.
Yeah.
Because
I do that so much more. And, a lot of the time now, I say what I think like a child. And I seem to get away with it. But, there are so many things that I just say what I think in the moment. And, I had a little, and I don't want to get into the details of it, it's still a bit raw and fresh and stuff, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other week, and I just poured my heart out, and I told her exactly how I felt, and I did not give a shit what she did with that. Whereas before, I would have been so scared of what she was going to do, and if she was going to back off, and we wouldn't be friends anymore, and all these stories. But it just looks to me like, when you're coming from that place of knowing and understanding where your experience is coming from, it just doesn't bloody matter what you say and what you think and what you feel, because it's going to change anyway. And my friend was absolutely amazing, and we had the best conversation, and I kind of feel like our friendship's taken on a much deeper, lovelier level now, just from me being open and honest. And she said to me, I really appreciate all the stuff that you've said. I'm like, oh good, I'm scared. No, it wasn't really. And the thinking does kick in, and you do feel scared, because we only feel scared when we don't understand where it's coming from. When we really understand where it's coming from, it's fuck all to be scared of, is there? A bit of bloody energy passing through. Whoa, big deal. It's just, what is that all about? It's crazy, isn't it?
It is really, really life-changing when you can kind of begin to see, and wherever you see it, whether you see it everywhere or whether you just see it in some places, when we begin to see that we don't have to be scared of our own experience. I mean, Sid said, didn't he, if we just learn not to be scared of our own experience, that on its own could change the world.
Yeah.
You really see, when you're in those places, if you're not, and when you're not fearful, I mean, I know you're kind of saying, oh, I just say what occurs to me in this, and you do, I've noticed that, but you are also very compassionate.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty
You
good
are,
at that now.
yeah. And I think because of the place that you say things from, yeah, you are quite childlike. You are, you're kind of cute and childlike, but the place, you're really coming from your heart a lot of the time, I've noticed with you. And
yeah,
yet,
I've noticed that.
You are a little bit raw and a little bit edgy, but you also, you've got an awful lot of love inside you, an awful lot. You're a really nice person, and that kind of comes through. I think coming from, and you're not coming from that fearful place. You are kind of just open and free, and it's nice and it's refreshing. It's nice to be around that. So I would like to kind of ask you, I know sort of, this is from my perspective as well, obviously there's an awful lot of things going on. We've got some big plans, and I kind of look at Beck's face.
She's banished to the other room.
Yeah. So do you want to share with us sort of what's going on, and what's going on with your thinking, what it's like for you, how much of a roller coaster has this been?
Oh yeah, this will be a good one.
For those of you that don't know, Lucy and Beck are both giving up their jobs, and they're going to move down to Devon. They're going to because we've got big plans to do a lot more 3 principles things. We're going to kind of build a community, a bit more of a community. We've already started. We're going to do more of that. So we decided to kind of just take the plunge and jump into this, very, very much jump into totally into the unknown. So this is kind of an interesting thing about, if we chat about this now, it might be interesting to see in 12 months or whatever, what has unfolded, and what's going on for you right now, and whereabouts are you on this journey?
Well, I've got a week and 2 days left of my job. There's going to be a lot of eeks here. So I can't wait, but I have thinking that I do the board stuff really well. Bored, fed up, don't know what to do with myself. That has dropped, I think, quite a lot lately. But so one of my things at the moment is when I give up work, or when I give up what I'm doing now, basically I'm thinking, am I going to get into board thinking? So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But I'm hoping, like I just said to you, Deb, when I come down for that week, yes, there's plenty of work to do here. Okay, then. I feel like money doesn't really scare me that much most of the time. Even though I literally, at the moment, how I live is whatever I earn for the month gets spent that month. And aside from a little bit of savings that I've got from when I sold my house, which I don't want to use because I'm using that for travel plans, I don't have anything other than, what did I say I'd got today? About £2,000. I've got £2,000 in the bank. So let's see what that does. I don't know, but it looks so different to, like, I've moved before. When I went to live in Spain with my other auntie, actually, Deb's sister, and when I did that, I was in a whole different headspace. I was so scared of myself and so worried that I wouldn't get a job and that my money would run out. Guess what? I didn't get a job and my money ran out. Look what I created. And I had to come back from Spain. I just played out there for 2 months, basically, ran out of money, came back, and then I saved some more money, went back out there and did get a job, and it was all fine and stuff. But I can see the difference when I went out there. I went out there because I was scared of what was happening in my life at that time. I was scared, so I was running away. This time, it doesn't look like that at all. It does not look like I'm running away from anything. It looks like I'm following my passion, and it looks like how you always describe it, Deb, that doing what you love, the rest of the stuff that we need, anything we need, is going to be provided for us. And I just feel totally in trust of that, apart from when my thinking kicks in. It isn't that often. It really isn't. I feel so much more trusting of the universe and the system that, you know, is the three principles, if you like. It really does make so much sense when you say that it's all taken care of, because it bloody is. Like, all you have to do is look back on situations in your life and stuff, and you can see, you know, you're still here, you're still fine, and I didn't even die from the peri peri chicken juju. But so yeah, moving to Devon, it looks like there's too much excitement going on to even think about worrying, because I'm coming down to yours for a week when I finish work. Then I've got my cruise that I'm going on. Then me and Beck will be packing up the house. Then we'll be moving, and by then it'll be like, oh, where's the time to worry then? So
you better factor in some time to worry.
Yeah, I think we need to put that on the spreadsheet, please.
Yeah, talk to Beck about putting that on the spreadsheet.
You need to find the spreadsheet. Yeah, that's another story. So I don't, yeah, like I know that I've only got a couple of grand, and, you know, there is part of me that's hoping we might create some more money. But I've got my children's book coming out. Well, coming out, she says. I've only wrote 6 pages. But you never know. That might get done. And that might generate some more money. But it might not. To be honest, I absolutely love writing that. Even though I've only wrote 6 pages, oh my God, the feeling I get when I'm writing that, it's brilliant. I just so love it. So I don't even care if no one ever reads it or buys it. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I love it.
Cool. Hang on a minute. I've got somebody who wants to ask a question.
Is the children's book a 3 Principles of Children book, or completely unrelated?
Did you hear that?
Oh, no, I can't hear what she's saying.
She said, is the children's book a 3 Principles children's book, or is it totally unrelated?
You might have to buy it and find out, love. I'm only joking.
Good answer.
Well, yeah, you know. Yes. What was the question?
Is it a 3 Principles book for children, or is it, you know, is it just a children's book?
It's a children's story book, but probably if you know me, you will see that the underlining message is 3 principles. If you know me, like you and Beck will definitely, and pretty much probably Juju will know what I'm saying.
Let's hope all the children.
I don't want to give too much away, but it's bloody awesome. It's really good. I think it is anyway.
So there's already stuff going on. You're already creating stuff out in the world. You're already doing stuff and creating. So shall we see if anyone else has got a question? If anyone else, you know, they've listened to your... Oh, hang on a minute. We have a second question here.
Anyone else on that? I do actually have a question.
Go on then.
So I might sort of get semi-lost in this as I go through, because I've got half a question, not quite sure where the other half is going. But
Hi, Judith.
Hello. What I did pick up on earlier was what either you said to Deb, what Deb said to you about yourself, or you said it, I'm not sure who. But like, we all know, I think, that Deb was determined, Deb was looking to better her life, and she was actively, you know, proactively seeking things when she came across the principles. And then, of course, you saw a change in Deb. And I think Deb said you were determined to change, make better, whatever you want to call it, sort of thing. And hearing you say that, whichever one it was, made me think that me and Deb have a lot of conversations when I'm with her. And, you know, she keeps saying to me, you know, I've got to let stuff, you know, you've got to be prepared to let stuff go, kind of thing. And it occurs to me, perhaps I've just not been determined to let stuff go. Perhaps that's the key to it. And it's a bit like deciding to give up smoking the next day, or going on a diet. The next day comes and your willpower's not quite there. you know, you have a chocolate of something, or you have the cigarette and you know you shouldn't, but you still do it, kind of thing. I'm thinking, is it a bit like that? You know, is the key to absorbing, taking on, whatever you want to call it, you know, following, whatever you want to call it, the 3 principles, is the key to it kind of like maybe determination kind of thing? Am I possibly not determined enough? It's kind of just had a little trigger thing in me that actually I've got to be more determined to let my stuff go, and instead of saying, oh, it's not quite working, or it's, you know, something like that. Does that make any sense to either of you guys?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and I'm quite happy to answer that if that's all right, Debs.
Yeah, go.
It looks to me, Judith, like it's determination is just not in the moment, and however determined we are is however, you know, that's whatever we're feeling at the time. For me, it looks like I know what you're talking about when you say that, the stuff about letting stuff go that we're scared of, like scared of things to let go of type thing, because me and Deb have that conversation quite a lot as well. And it's like that whole, the trusting thing is like, no, let me start with the letting go thing. I think it's when we're frightened that if we let go of something, we're actually going to lose something, and we're not whole and complete without that thing, which could be a person or anything. And it looks so real and true that if we let go of that, it's going to be hard, and we can't do life without that. I can talk to you about that through alcohol for me, because that's how it looks for me with alcohol a lot of the time. A hell of a lot better. Like, I can only compare where I was in my journey with alcohol and where I am. But definitely, I only had a couple of months ago, I had a conversation with Beck, and I said, sometimes it looks to me like I'm suspicious that if I let go of the alcohol stuff completely, I'm scared. I'm scared that I wouldn't be able to do certain things and certain situations. I wouldn't be able to go here. I wouldn't be able to do that without alcohol. And that I would quite openly admit that I'm scared, and that scares the shit out of me. So I feel like if I was to let go of that, so what I also feel there is, but what comes across for me is, there are other things in my life that I've just let go of, or they've let go of me. I prefer to see it that way. And when they've gone, fuck me, amazing things come in their place. So I think there will be a point where this alcohol stuff will completely go for me. I just see it. I just think it will. And the way it looks to me is, when we keep understanding where our experience is coming from, we're not doing anything. We're not physically letting go of anything or anyone. It just happens. There's so many things that have just gone out of my life because I don't feel scared. I don't feel scared because I have that trust in the system that anything I need or want is going to be provided for me. Does that make any sense? Do you want me to say any more? I'm not sure.
It does help. And I mean, I can certainly some things you can see, yeah, you know you need to let go of them and you don't know why you're hanging on to them. There's definitely things like that. But some things, yeah, that whole thing, it's boring, everyone's heard it. You know, my mum dying kind of thing, and for somebody else it might be some other childhood experience. What is it about that I can't let go? And things like a lack of confidence, you know, in certain areas kind of thing.
Oh, I'm good at the lack of confidence one.
I mean, I'm any confidence in a lot of ways, but I'm talking to one of the ladies at Deb's Sewing Group today, you know, kind of lack confidence in my ability to go out and get certain work that I might like to do because I don't think I'm qualified for it, or I know I'm not, or I'm not computer literate enough, or whatever kind of thing. So there's that. So yeah, I mean, there's probably a whole array of things I need to let go. And I mean, definitely, I totally agree. Absolutely. Things slip away. And I mean, like with yourself, Debs, I know massive changes have happened for me as well since first meeting Debs and talking about this. loads slipped away. I mean, remember our initial conversations, you know. I don't tell Debs half the amount of stories that I used to, which is a bit sad, you know.
Yeah, they were quite good fun.
Stories are great. Yeah, so it's letting go of those negative-y, depressive-y sort of things. That's probably, yeah. But things are definitely falling away. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, you know, there are definitely things in my life that I want them to go. I don't want to feel like that, and I don't want to keep having those habitual thoughts about stuff. But then, you know, through conversations with Deb and Beck and Juju and stuff, it just looks so apparent to me that isn't ours to do. All ours to do is to understand where our experience is coming from, keep looking towards that, keep looking back towards the truth of who we are, and that stuff is taken care of for us. It's just fucking easy. Sorry, I don't mean that thing, you know, in a horrible way, but that's how it looks. Like, we talk a lot about decision making, and I was having a Zoom with Denise last night, and she said, you know, we were talking about not making decisions and that decisions are just made for us, and it's like, it's so obvious, isn't it? And I like that one that, again, I was saying this to Jude this morning about how we don't sit there and decide to sit down. Let's bend our knees here. I think I wrote this in my book. But it's like, we don't, do we? We don't, there's no thinking around that. We just do it. And the less that we focus on things like that, stuff just slips away. Like, one of my things was my weight as well, and things, you know, with all that. And I'm pretty sure I don't weigh myself, but I think if I was to weigh myself, I'm just as heavy as years ago when I started Slimming World, and I looked physically fatter. And yet I'm pretty sure I weigh about the same. I eat what the hell I want, because it just looks to me like there's no thinking around that. And I definitely feel like I actually love myself now, like even my body, even my lovely little tummies. I used to hate them. I used to hate my bloody tummies. And that's what's changed. It's nothing to do with what I weigh or what I look like. It's me that sees it differently, because what the fuck isn't there to love? You know, I genuinely, that's what looks like it's changed to me, that I didn't love myself. So I guess I was fatter. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's really hard sometimes. I really know what I feel and what I think and what's changed, but it's really hard to explain. But again, that was one of my biggest things, was the weight thing. For years I battled with, God, ask Deb how many times me and Kaylee used to come down with our bloody Slimming World bags to make our food, which is fine. I don't, you know, but it just feels so much easier now that I just don't pay any interest. But I did actually, again, I said to Juju the other day, I said, I know this sounds a bit weird, but when I got out of the shower the other day, I looked at myself and I thought, oh, I think my tummy has gone a bit slimmer actually. But I just don't pay any attention to it. It doesn't look like that's who I am. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested that I'm fun and I'm loving and I'm kind and I come from my heart and I'm authentic and I'm raw, and people just seem to like that and flock to me, and they like my tummy too because I like it now. I don't know. Does any of that make any sense, Judah?
Yeah. And I mean, and also, you know.
Sorry, does anyone else want to ask anything? I don't. You can talk all you like,
well,
but
everyone's always quiet. Normally everyone's quiet and there's no.
I know, yeah, but I'll just say, just in case. If not, carry on.
Yeah, I know. You know, talk about staying in the conversation, and certainly, Deb, we were talking earlier, and something she said, you know, the analogy of the game of Monopoly. It's a game sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've heard that probably several times before, but something about that resonated today more, and a little thing triggered. Although it kind of fell into place and then it maybe moved out of place again. I know it'll in the coming days, maybe weeks, maybe months, or whatever. Because sometimes, you know, it's several weeks down the line you realise something of what you heard. Because definitely stuff from the February tweet is coming through now, and that was a few weeks ago now. So yeah, I think, you know, definitely staying in the conversation, hearing something. Sometimes you don't necessarily hear it at the right time to start with, and you have to hear it another time when it's the right time for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's pointing to insight, isn't it? That all of a sudden, you know, somebody says something, and then it can be the next day, the next month or whatever, suddenly something, and it's like, oh, I know what it was you were pointing towards now. I know what it was you were actually saying.
It does. Like when me and Beck, when we had that conversation last week about the confusion and clarity thing, and Beck said, I feel like that's what I've been talking to you about for ages. I was like, oh, I didn't know you meant it like that.
So has anybody else got a question that they would like to ask? You can unmute yourself, I think, or you can put your hand up and... Oh, Emma.
Go, Emma. I like Emma.
Yeah, hi. Oh, God, I just wanted to say, Lucy, I mean, you're pretty awesome. You really are. I mean,
I know.
I've watched loads and loads of webinars. I've been into the principles for about 4 years now. Tonight's webinar for me has been awesome.
Thank
and
you.
I'm not just saying that. The things you're saying is totally where I am. I love your energy. I love the way you explain it, the way you chuck in a few swear words, which is just how I am. You know what I mean? What I see is what I'm getting.
I like Emma's.
Yeah. What I'm seeing is totally what I'm getting, and I really, really am enjoying it. Honestly, I really am.
Oh, wicked, thanks.
There's a couple of things I want to sort of shoot you, really.
Oh, go on.
So I have a situation. I mean, my sister may well watch this webinar on a replay, so I've got to be a bit, but I'm sure she won't mind me just shooting it out there. Her husband has an alcohol problem.
Right.
It's progressively sort of getting worse and basically taken over their marriage. To the point that I'm trying to get her, I'm sowing seeds with the 3 principles, have done ever since I sort of really have understood the understanding. But of course my sister is in a place of his behaviour is affecting her. His drink is a problem. His behaviour, his drink, all him, nothing to do with her. She's understanding. She does understand the principles, and the understand them, thought in the moment, creating a feeling, creating her personal reality. But obviously when she's in a low state, it's everything to do with him.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I've tried to sort of sow seeds with him, but of course, the majority of the time he's in self-destruct. So there's not many windows that I can go in. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So obviously, the obvious person for me is to my sister, you know, because I love her. I don't want to see us obviously self-suffering. It's killing me to watch her, you know, do that.
I can relate.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if she watches this on a replay, I don't know, really. I think for me, because I'm her sister and there's that connection there, and also because she's seen me change, and I don't want to say there's an element of, I don't want to say jealousy because that is the wrong word completely, but I don't quite know. I find it hard with family members and friends. I'm finding that some of them are falling away. So that was the other thing I was going to ask you. You know, obviously, since you've become on board with the 3 principles, how's that affected your old friends, you know, your old network? Because I'm finding, I'll give you an example. I mean, I don't want to get into stories because I could sit here all night talking about bloody stories, but I think it's good because it gives someone an idea, doesn't it? So I'll give you a situation. My best friend, who I've known, you know, like I would class her as my best friend, and my sister are getting very pally. They're almost like, they're really pally. And ever since
I know this one.
I've come on board with the 3 principles, it's like I'm an alien, you know. And I really got into my thinking about it today, like majorly, you know. I cleaned with my best friend this morning on a cleaning job, and she was hardly really talking to me. I just feel recently she's been very distant, but that's probably in my thinking, hasten to add. I do know that. But sometimes you react on your thinking, you know. And anyway, I came away and I asked my sister if she'd like a cup of tea down my house, and she was a bit like, so I said, have you got plans? She said, well, yeah, I was going to go with, I'm going into town. Well, clearly with my best friend. So I was like, oh, right, okay. Thinking, where's my bloody invite? You know what I mean? It's like, I ain't gonna get one. So, okay. So I sent them both the same message because I was completely in my thinking, and I was in a low place. And I was getting paranoid, and I was thinking, well, hold on, is this 3 principles real or bollocks? Because obviously if no one else is coming on board, I must be the weird one, you know, even though I feel absolutely fucking fantastic. I mean, I really do. I mean, I love life. Even with all the shitness, I love it.
So well.
Yeah, I love it, you know. And so I text them both. Well, of course, they reacted. And it was like, whoa, hold on. This isn't where I'm sort of going, you know, with it. But I do believe I'm going to be looked after. So if I'm meant to sort of lose my best friend or part, then that's okay. I'm cool with that. As hurtful as it would be, I'm cool with that. And because in the turn, I'm making new friends all the time, like you guys. I'm making new friends all the time. So that doesn't worry me. I don't have fear about it. You know, I used to have a lot of fear about stuff. But my sister reacted with sort of, all right, after the initial reaction of, you know, she thought it was personal, so immediately it was react. After that, she was okay, and she just said, look, I really love you. And it came through really lovely because she knew that I wasn't coming from a place of too much into my own thinking. I just said, this is how it is. The moment's gone now, but I just wanted to, you know, point this out. Don't you like my company anymore? Question mark. You know, because it's fine if you don't. I just want to know, you know, because I won't embarrass myself in future and ask you out, you know, if it's going to be a no. So, and she actually come back with, no, actually, I love spending time with you. And it came really, it built me and my sister a bit closer, you know. Yeah. My best friend, I'm not sure. She sort of went on the react. So it's all right, it's cool, you know. Because like you said, you say stuff now and it's like they take it how they fucking want. And that's up to them, isn't it? Where before, I used to overthink about what I was going to say. And then I'd go around the houses and start telling stories rather than just getting down to the nitty gritty. And yeah, so they're the couple of things I want to sort of ask you, you know, challenge you on a little bit, you know. So your old life, is that still those friends and family members still about, or and also with my brother-in-law,
family or friends?
Well, I mean, you know,
Lucy's family wave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you know what I'm saying, don't you? You know.
Yeah.
Like,
can I talk to you about the sister thing first?
Yeah, of course.
That's awesome. That's a good one for me. So when I came around the principles, I won't say too much, but my little sister up there, she was having a bit of a shit time and stuff with things, and it was breaking my heart. I don't know how long I'd been around the principles, but anyway, maybe a year or two, and I was speaking to Deb about it and said, how can we help Beck? She's in this situation and things need to change, and I can see what's going on for her, and I know what's best, and as you do. And it looked to me like I wanted to help and fix her and sort her out. And I can't remember exactly what Deb said at the time, but I know it was very much like, I'm pretty certain it would have been, just keep on this journey. Beck is perfectly fine. We need to keep doing this for ourselves, because that is where the power's at. It's knowing that you can't go out there and fix everyone and fix the world and look after other people. You just need to keep doing what's right for you, and then they'll come on board if they're meant to. And funnily enough, it didn't take long for Beck over there to sort of like say, shit, I need some help here, and I'm not. What can I do? And I think you rang me, didn't you? Bet rang me, and like I didn't think Bet was hearing any of the stuff or paying any attention to what me and Deb were doing. I just thought she thought we were numpties, and you know, for whatever reason, Bet must have saw something change in me and saw that we were doing good and she was struggling, and she came to me. Like, I was so surprised that she came to me to say, I don't know what to do here. And I said what I always say, go and see Deb. That's all I ever say to anyone.
Which my sister is actually, that's the thing, she's coming to me. I'm trying to point her inside. I'm trying to point her. I'm not doing any judgment. I've dropped all that. Compassion, love, pointing her. But it's always yeah, but so you're telling me to put up with this violent? No, he's not violent, but he picks on her when he's drunk because he's in such a shit. I tend to not stick up for him, but I say, look, he's in his own reality. He's really not clear on. He doesn't mean that. Don't take it personal. I know it's hard. I'm not saying his behaviour is right or wrong. Not. But if you see through what's creating his reality, then you'll understand it a little bit more. And she's like, no, you're telling me to put up with it. And that's where I find...
This is where it looks to me, if you don't mind me saying what I see, is it just looks to me that, not in a horrible way, and don't not be there for your sister at all, but you need to back off and you need to be like using your own wisdom, and you need to just get into the principles for you, because other people only change because you're changing. So the more you do that, and you just concentrate on you, there is no one else to do. You can't try, you're trying to help her and show her, but the best way to help her and show her is by showing her that you're doing that for you.
Sort of
you know what I mean? It's that whole bring it back to you and just keep working on you. Because that's what Beck did. Beck just saw me. I got into the whole, oh God, what can we do to help Beck? And Deb was like, nothing, leave her to it. Deb did the same with her kids, and I've seen it with other people and stuff, that it is that whole, you need to just concentrate on you. Fucking hell, that's hard enough, let alone anyone else.
yeah, completely. And I do agree. When I first come into the principles, I lived it, breathed it.
Yeah.
I wanted to share everyone. Do this. You'll be
here. Everyone, it's amazing.
Do this. Fucking do it. Honestly, it changed your life. And then I realised
you can't.
That's from the wrong place, isn't it? That's from judgment again. Yeah. That's from my beliefs. Yeah. Which again is wrong. Well, not wrong, but it's it's not
going to get you anywhere.
The place that we're teaching, Yeah. And so yeah. I mean, since I've done that, because I've got a teenager, I've got 3 children, I've got my mum who lives with me who's poorly, and so I've got a lot of challenges going on. Husband works away. Come on, feel sorry for me, No,
I do. As soon as you mentioned kids, I felt sorry for you.
all joking aside, at the end of the day, I know the more I step back and remain in my space, even when people challenge me with, oh, you're saying this, why are you doing? I just say, well, I'm sorry you feel like that, but I'm really not. I come from a place of love. And when you do that, things change. They naturally change.
Yeah.
They naturally change. So, so that's good. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to. So when you used to drink and be whatever you said like an arsehole, whatever you want, abusive, whatever, Can you come from that angle for my sister? Like, can you explain where you was? So it, at that moment in time,
it looks
make her understand her husband a little bit better, maybe.
Yeah, totally. Because obviously, like in that situation, I'm her husband. But yeah, I used to. I didn't have any confidence, any self-love, any. Like I said, I didn't even like myself, let alone love myself. And it looked to me like it was because of X, Y, and Z. I can't even remember why, but it looked like I was angry at the world. And I suppose probably with Michaela, it looked like she was pissing me off but I just can't remember why. It's quite a lot of years ago. But and then when I drank, for whatever reason, when I got drunk, that anger would just come out. I didn't give a shit, and I would just be mentally abusive. Is that the one? Yeah, with the words. Yeah. I wasn't ever physical or anything, apart from one time. Oh no, forget that one. No, forget that. I was just horrible to her, but like I can't remember what I said or
So
what
then
was
did you have like loads of guilt after about like
yeah, the next day I felt shit.
like a spiral.
Absolutely really shit.
Let's have a
I felt
drink.
awful and yeah, and I used to say to her, I'm so sorry, I don't mean any of that stuff. I love you
This is
bits.
the pattern they're in, you see. This is the exact pattern. It happens and it's just happening now, getting to the point. Used to happen now and again, now it's all the time. So she's living in we're both living, and they're beautiful people, and they love each other, and it's challenging to watch and hear, but I do see through that.
Yeah,
I do see his truth. I see that he's living in that where you were, that reality. So I just see compassion. I mean, I see it. Do you know what I mean? But she doesn't. She's still got that big judgment. If he stops drinking, we'll be happy.
One of the biggest things that I've seen as well is that when people are doing stuff and saying stuff, it's a reflection of them.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's so hard not to take it personally a lot of the time.
Exactly.
But, you know, knowing that the only reason he's doing that stuff is nothing to do with anyone apart from him and his thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's him, it's feelings that are, you know, he's not.
I mean, she's probably seen massive changes in me because my husband has come on board with the 3 principles about, you'll be happy to hear that, Julie, won't you? I know. Because whenever I used to have meetups with Julie, I used to always be talking about my husband, his anger, and, you know, all the time. And it's like, anyway, 4 years down the line, we done a 3-day intensive with Dave Ellery and Jenny Anderson.
Yeah.
We got to breaking point with our marriage, and we got them down. And it was life-changing. And he is like, oh my God, life-changing. And this is a man who, I mean, talking to that lady who was just with Deb, I mean, this is a man who had a tough childhood, you know. He's had tough times, very tough times. We don't speak to any of his family now. He's got a lot of guilt, a load of stuff, you know. And like he said, the easiest way is he's lived a prisoner in his own mind through his thinking for 30 odd years, and to have that released, and the fact that you can be anyone you want anytime in a moment was so powerful for him. I mean, he's seen the massive spiritual thing as well, like the whole connection, the oneness. But for him to actually, it made me, like you said earlier, which brought a tear to my eye, like I fell in love with him again, you know, and he me, because you drop all the judgment and all the beliefs, and you realise that everything is fucking beliefs. Even down to my kid farting at the dinner table and people thinking it's rude. Who thinks it's rude?
I love it.
It's a belief, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's like where I used to get moody and in my thinking and say, that's disgusting, can you leave the table? That's really rude. Because my mum used to think it was rude. It's
Oh, that's a great one.
I laugh about it now, and it's like, it's a fart. It's a fart. You know what I mean?
We'll do it.
You know, it just makes you realise that everything is thought.
Yeah.
Everything is belief.
Yeah.
And, you know, for my husband to sort of change in a moment, I mean, don't get me wrong, he still gets raged, he still has anger, but it's fine, that's fine.
So do I. I bet.
Yeah. You can ask my husband, I mean, rage, it's unbelievable. You think he's going to blow a gasket. It's like, you know, 0 to 100 in seconds. But,
We could have a competition.
But the difference is he doesn't attach all these other attachments to it.
Yeah.
And then have guilt and everything. He's done it. He blows up. It's done.
Yeah.
Then he says, do you want a cup of tea? And you know what I mean? And I just move on. Sometimes I don't. It depends on what happens. But it's just everything dissolves a lot quicker. It's
It
awesome.
does.
It's
It
awesome.
does.
It's awesome. So yeah, so where I think for him there was a big fear about, he didn't want to drop the past because the past was safe. You know, the
Yeah.
past, the big
Yeah.
hard man, you know, the person who, you know, I don't know, you know what I mean, like his stigma and the way,
Yeah, the whole
even though he
ego is built
didn't
up
like,
story,
yeah,
isn't it?
even though he didn't like it about himself, it was safe. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm hoping to do the iHeart
Oh,
program
with Terry. Yeah.
in mental health. Yeah, and again, there's lots of things in my way at the moment because, of course, to go up to London for 3 days and leave my kids and my mum and my husband's away, but it's like what you guys are doing. I mean, that's just gave me a breath of fresh air. It's like I can do this.
Oh, you're coming to live in Devon? Oh no, you live in Devon.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you guys hopefully when you're down, you know. But
Good.
yeah, because you're in Barnstable, aren't you? Are you Barnstable? Is it?
I don't know. Where do you live, Deb?
Where do you live
I'm
there?
Heartland.
Heartland, which is near Bideford.
Yeah, so that's about an hour away from here. Yeah. You know, I always like a good road trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We like
You so should come down. We've got a lot of things planned. You should come.
Yeah, I always keep up to date with you. Yeah, I mean, you know, but as I say, I'm hoping to do the iHeart sort of thing, because I do want to sort of work ideally with children and stuff. But again, it's all obstacles sort of coming in my way. But it's a passion of mine. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna earn money? Like, but I just think, well, I'm just happy to just share it for a bit because I'm privileged enough to have my own business, and my husband's a commercial diver, so it's all, you know, sweet where that's concerned. But I just think, sod it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, since I come on board with the 3 principles, it's just something I'm truly passionate about. And the thing I love about it is everyone's perfect. We're just all perfect, aren't we, as we are?
Absolutely.
It is. It's just, you know.
even with my tummies.
I know. I mean, all of the stuff you've said is just so relevant. It was so real. You know, I've enjoyed it tonight. Anyway, I'll stop chatting now. I'll mute myself and let
Yeah, you can shut up now. But it was good. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Emma.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have gone 10 minutes over.
Oh, can we carry on? I like it. This is like what happened when I did my Jack talk. I want to carry on speaking.
Yeah, it is. So has anyone else got anything that they would like to ask Lucy before we wrap this up tonight? Anything else coming up?
Yeah. You can't say anything back.
Oh, I was just going to ask if we're doing soaps after this, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you in the living room in a minute.
Okay.
You two are hilarious. So yeah, thank you, Lucy. That was really amazing.
Awesome.
And it's
Yeah.
it is really, you know, like when Emma said, like she's watched loads of different webinars and things like that. I think.
Bye, Juju.
Yeah. Bye, Julie. It was kind of, you know, it is. You're pretty refreshing, Lucy. It's nice to hear your perspective. So next week we have the lovely Beck Freeman as our lovely people guest. So it's going to be really interesting to have a conversation with Beck and see where she is, see what her, you know, what she shares with us about the principles. And I know some of you on here are local, so I will just mention, and Emma, you're only an hour away. We are on this Saturday, we have got a 3 principles workshop day at my house. Once a month, we have a 3 principles day where we get up to all sorts of exciting things. So have a think about whether you'd like to come and join us. And anyone else, also welcome.
Yeah, cool. Maybe not this week, but next month I'll be able to plan it and shut my business. So yeah, that sounds good to me.
We do that once a month. You know, if anyone is close enough, or you know, it's not for a whole day, it's not too bad to have a bit of a road trip. I know Julie's going to be joining us. Julie Harvey is she's going to. Yeah, and
oh, I don't know. I'm just saying hello to Julie. Hi, Jill.
So if anyone is around for that, that would, you know, the more the merrier. We have a good time. That's they're good days. So, you know, it was really good. So Beck, who's my business, you know, she always checks I say everything. Have I said everything I need to say, Beck? Cool. Well, it just remains.
Brains behind the operation.
Yeah, Beck's the brains behind the operation, absolutely. So just remains really for me to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. It's been really, really fun. Great to have a conversation. Great to kind of see where everyone is. And thank you very much, Judith, for your input. And thank you, Emma.
Yeah,
for
Judith. Your questions were good.
Yeah, and I am sure I can speak for Lucy when I say, you know, if anyone does come up with something, if there's something they want to ask another time, Lucy's always good for a...
Text me. I love messaging.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. So it's been really, really great, guys, and hopefully we will see you again next week for our next Lovely People webinar. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.